Hey guys, Sean New of the agency here. We are on site at the Sanctuary in Turtle Tail, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Greg Blee of Blee Halligan, the architect of the project. Greg, great to see you.
Good to see you, Sean.
So I'm so happy that we got a chance to come out here on this beautiful site today. I know that Blee Halligan have done an incredible job putting together these immaculate modern lake houses for the property. Before we get into the specifics of the sanctuary, I think that I wanted to give some of our viewers a bit of background into yourself at Blee Halligan and how you guys ended up here at the Turks and Caicos.
Well, I suppose it was about 7 years ago now. We came out for a Project Blue Key, which was, a bit of a punt at that point, doing a brand new development up in Lloyd, and we came out to do a little piece of that, and it ended up selling really fast because it was kind of a unique product at that point. About openness and about embracing landscape and about putting courtyards into the center of the plan and all sorts of little touches, architectural touches that didn't really exist here. So that sold really well, and we stayed.
And so, a lot of the things, interestingly, that you touched on there, I think are really guides for what I see from Blee Halligan projects. What are the things that you take inspiration from here in the islands when you're designing a home?
Well, it's easy. Everyone says the landscape, but I think this particular site, and I know we're going to come on to that, is really special and unique. And it's about, how do you put a home into this landscape without looking like an alien object, and also giving people the experience of kind of calmness and living in this beautiful environment. And I think that's a kind of challenge that is actually really hard to achieve in architecture. So we really are tuned into the idea of, how do you want to live in this particular location, this particular place.
And it's been incredible to see over the short period of time that Blee Halligan has been here. You guys have won a lot of awards. How is it that you've managed to have that level of success over such a short period of time?
We just have we really, really care about what we do. And a lot of people say that, but it's true. It's truly is more about the kind of architecture and about the creative side, less about the business. Sometimes these things get muddled together, but we feel that if we do something that makes people excited and makes people kind of gasp, or the wow factor, which everyone overuses, but if we can do that in buildings, we just think the business will follow in behind it. So we just front and center is about spending as much time as possible being creative and ignoring all the other sides of things, and that kind of pulls us along.
And so, what would you think that as you continue to build that business here, what do you want people to think of as the legacy of Blee Halligan?
I think it's going to be less about kind of looking at Pinterest and like modern architecture online and looking at stuff from the States and more about, and we're searching for this, what is a modern Turks and Caicos home? And that's a really interesting problem or challenge, because I don't think anyone, including us, anyone's really nailed the idea of like, what is the home that you will see from the outside and go, that has to be in the Turks and Caicos, it couldn't be anywhere else. And so we're really trying to find that. And I think we'll probably spend the next 10, 20 years trying to find that. But hopefully the landscape of design here will become very specific, and that's what I'm kind of excited by. So it's not like a bit of Miami dropped onto these islands. It's more about something that's kind of tuned and honed and specific to this place.
I would imagine with all of that the evolution of the architecture is going to change over time as well, right? So that the home that you see here now is kind of defining the Turks and Caicos is going to be different in 20 years, and it's going to be from the little elements that you add on each development.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've had a lot of discussions about the energy element and trying to reduce energy, and I know you're very passionate about that. And that's as much about the architecture as it is about kind of putting solar panels on it. How do you think about orientation and aspect and kind of outlook and glass and all the things and make it very tuned to its place? And I think that we're kind of along that road, and I think this project is one that kind of moves on again, the discussion, and hopefully in 20 years time we're going to have a fully zero carbon, free homes, and we're just on that road to that end goal, but it takes time.
And so, that's a great segue into the site where we are now, the Sanctuary. And obviously, I know you're incredibly passionate about what Blee Halligan have managed to do in terms of creating these unique villas. What is it for you that makes this site so unique and specific to the homes that you've designed?
Yeah, well, it's fascinating, isn't it? You know, you can go to North Caicos, or you can still find beachfront that's kind of affordable and accessible. But Provo, you know, provides these amenities that are close at hand. You know, that's why it's a great place to be. But being on a lake and the peninsula, which is, you know, by the realities of the geography, you have privacy and you have water aspect, but you're located so well to what the island has to offer, or Provo has to offer. So that's really unique. And I think this idea of privacy and sensitivity to nature, but being in the center of the island, I think is a really unique proposition.
And then what guided the design of the homes here? Because we've had some of the buyers, you know, commenting on how they love the feeling of like a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired home. Is that some of what helped guide you to this? Maybe not
Frank Lloyd Wright, but I think what we saw, maybe, you know, all credit to Trevor and Todd and the development team. You know, we said that this isn't a beachfront home, this isn't a hilltop home, this is a lake home, and so we have to express the architecture in a different way, and that will be about this particular place and the breeze that we're getting today, and how you live outdoors, but you want to be outdoors but under shade, and how we can develop an architecture that is really different. And I think we've done that, and the hope is that people want to be inside as much as outside, and it's about usability and functionality of outside space as much as inside space. So I think, you know, Frank Lloyd Wright and some of these big names are important references, but I think this I can't really think of a direct reference to this. This isn't the kind of copy paste exercise. It's been like, you know, what does this place have to offer, and how do we make homes that are going to sit as comfortably as possible on it? And of course, one of the big things that the sanctuary offers the owners who are going to be here is that sense of community. Yeah. You know, how much do you think that this feeling of these villa communities with amenities and other access to other properties in the island is going to feature in the future design of Provo? I mean, it seems to be like almost a key element. You know, South Bank that we're architects on, you know, that's the community element, people feeling the comfort of having like-minded people around them, I think it's really front and center for a lot of these buyers. And I think, you know, this, because it's on a peninsula, it kind of accentuates that even more, because you've got one point of access. And I suppose the hope is that, you know, you've got one very quiet road down the center, people will skateboard, will roller skate up it, and you hope that even the kind of access point will be used as something that a family could enjoy, rather than it just being kind of a busy street. Yeah. So I don't know, I think that's really important. And then obviously the sustainability element of this, as you said, the solar panels that are going to be on the roof are an important part of it, but they're not the only part. I know that you guys, in terms of the materials that you're using, have really been driven by sustainable products. So can you give us a little bit more information on that? Yeah, so I think there's always a balance with products about, you know, durability and kind of where they come from and how they're manufactured. And we've been more thoughtful than probably any project we've done before in terms of chain of custody, so looking at how you procure the timber, you know, what man-made products you can use which don't require maintenance, so that you don't need to be continually slapping, you know, paint on them, but also using materials that have this kind of softness, so they're not just white boxes, they have a kind of earthy tone to them, so they can sit here comfortably. I think the other thing is, you know, you mentioned solar, but solar needs to be kind of met in the middle with the architecture. So, you know, having big overhangs so that you're shading the glass so that you're not overheating the interior. Little design like that really helps to kind of lower the bills and make them more sustainable products. And so tying that back into the kind of continued development of the islands, like what do you see as architectural kind of guiding trends that we're going to see more of in the next couple of years? Resilience, I think, in all facets. So storm resilience, but also resilience in terms of just being able to kind of enjoy your home without constantly worrying about it. I think that's, you know, we've on this project and on other projects, we talk a lot about, you know, what materials can we use that don't require ongoing maintenance. I love this idea that, you know, you can be sat there in a hurricane and be having a party. You know, I kind of bring this up as a kind of desire, like front and center. It's like, I want to be there drinking a martini in a Cat 5 hurricane.